Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame and Cinnamon Sugar, and we are here for another recap review for Our Kind of People. Okay, I already know I'm late. For those of y'all who saw my community post, y'all already know my job is trying me. It is a miracle that I'm even doing this video to upload, and hopefully, I won't be so tired that I will forget to do it and then go to sleep like I did the other day for 2 days straight. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Y'all, the episode started out with Angela being at her daddy's house. He just sitting in the foyer, and he appears because she was just waiting on him. And he was like, Angela, what's wrong? And she was like, it's my Aunt Piggy. I'll do anything you want. I just need you to help her to get out of this jam. She done went and turned herself in for the murder of old boy, whatever, whatever. And so it was kind of like music to his ears because it's like, oh, this is easier than what I thought it was gonna be. I set up a trust for Nikki, my granddaughter, and I give you your seed money and all the stuff you need to do for Eve's crown. You're gonna have to leave town and never come back. And so, of course, she wants to know why, and it's because he was like, there are some things that I don't want unearthed. I don't want you to find out certain things. That's basically what he was saying, and she was like, wow. Like, I'm just like, girl, it's like you take 2 steps forward and get knocked 4 steps back by Teddy, and somehow you are still surprised by how trash he is and how about self he is. I don't understand your confusion because it might have taken me 1 or 2 times, like maybe 2 times to see him in action to realize that this is the type of person that he is. So I'm very confused as to why you are confused about who your daddy is. Now, Leah, on the other hand, has been under his thumb for quite some time. So I understand her reluctance to believe anybody about her daddy, but I feel like one day she'll learn her lesson. So anyway, she's disgusted and tired of her spirit, and she eventually storms off. So she done made it home and talking to Nate about it, and she's very, very deep in her feelings. Y'all, first of all, the reason why they're even talking is because it's like 3 in the morning, and she was up blasting music in her feelings and creating like a braided wig. And he was like, yeah, so where's the party? What's going on here? And so she's like, oh, hey, what you doing up? What's going on? He was like, well, it is 3 something in the morning and the music's kind of loud. So she's taking a couple of sips and things. Like, she got shots and stuff ready. She's in her feelings. And I guess her process is to do hair or to make up products in the middle of the night or whatever, like do something. And so after he's heard what has gone on, he looking at her like, you might need to take the deal. And so she looking like, this is making me feel like I really need to understand what's going on. He gave her a story about how when he was in jail, he felt the exact same way that she felt and wanted revenge against the guy who ended up getting away with the murder that he actually committed. And he the one had to sit there and do time for it. You know what I'm saying? And had Teddy not done what he did to be spiteful and release him, he would have still been sitting there, rotting away. Well, for whatever reason, Teddy and his son-in-law are sitting together at breakfast, and he is gloating about, having the paperwork that his partner had. And so, in his mind, Teddy looking at him like, you might have think you won the war, but, you might have think you won the battle, but I'm going to win the war. It is what it is. Leah in her feelings still, her husband read her about how she just sat up there and alienated her sister and all of this. And she over there talking about, well, you could be more gentle. Girl, bye. What are you talking about? Like, this man had to tell her to her face that your father is, basically buying you. And I'm like, why is this news to you? Like, your daddy is keeping you fed. He's fattening you up for the kill. Like, he doing all of this because he runs you. Why is this news to you? So anyway, we see Nikki FaceTiming her girlfriend, and anybody who has eyes, even before it cut away after the phone call was over, could tell that Taylor, or whatever the girl's name is, was over here still cheating and whatnot with the ex, who is Nikki's cousin. And it's like, girl, Lauren, why? I understand she was your girlfriend first and all of that, but it's just too messy. Everybody need to be single at this point. Everybody's first. Like, I don't understand. It's too much going on. They over here trying to kind of like decompress, and they have just fallen into one another's arms and all of this because of their connection of learning about old boy dying and walking in on him dead. And I understand the trauma. This heifer over here to myself, oh, well, let me go ahead and call her and break up with her now. And so she was like, wait a minute. I mean, despite all of what you're saying, like, I actually have grown to actually care about my cousin, and we're in a great place right now. And so she was just like, look, I just need a little bit more time for us to do what we're doing, and then we'll break the news to her together. And so Taylor talking about, dang, well, that makes me feel even worse than I did before. Because you want to be nice about it. Because she was like, haven't you been telling me to be nice to her? And when she does listen, they over here cheating with one another. Why everybody want to cheat? Be single and free, baby. I don't understand. So anyway, Leah rolled up on her sister, and she looking at her like, girl, bye. It is what it is. Don't worry about it. I made my decision. I don't act like you haven't heard about your daddy's offer. So of course, this is yet another thing that Leah doesn't know about. It's because she was like, oh, don't sit up. You gonna try to act like you don't know about the deal? And so she was like, I actually didn't. Like, your daddy don't tell you nothing. He leaves you out. He leaves you in the dark about everything. And while they're in the middle of talking and all this other stuff, eventually, as the day progresses, Piggy has shown up because she is trying to figure out, okay, where did you come from? They were on the phone trying to get through to even talk to her. And while they were on the phone, she enters the home. And so she said, I'm over here talking to investigators and all this, pouring my soul out to them. And they looking at me like, this happened over 30 years ago. So they really didn't hold her, but they said that they were gonna, basically maybe do something, look into it or whatever. So it's like she's free, but in her mind, she feels like something is gonna come back on her at some point. So let me just lay low. Ultimately, she was like, look, I'm gonna throw myself a party, a going away party, because she is accepting the fact that in her mind, she's going to prison, jail, wherever. And so they're going to do a nice little barbecue the way that they do, because apparently they throw some good parties. So it is what it is. Well, Leah's mama is at the house with them, like the family house, I guess. I don't know if is it the family house? I think it's a family house. Anyway, she at one of them houses. And her daddy done showed up. He is shocked and wondering why this heifer there. And so he was like, well, I could have got a heads up. And so she was like, well, you didn't give me a heads up the last time all this other stuff is going on. She was like, look, the doctor signed off on everything. She's taking her meds. She's doing well. Like, she was spending time with the grandkids and all of this. And so, of course, she wanted to know what was the meaning of what was going on as far as what she heard from Angela, because she got blindsided yet again. Because it's like, how you going to do this? And why are you doing all this? I already feel bad enough about what I did that is continuously blackballing her, because her sister straight up told her, like, no matter what I do, you're going to block it. And it's sad. It is what it is. And it's all because of her daddy. I'm just like, heifer, how is it that you can't tell, as grown as you are, your daddy using you? Anyway, Tariq and Raymond ended up linking up, and they basically are still playing their part. And he was telling him how Teddy was looking a certain type of way when they was at breakfast. And Tariq was like, well, you might not be able to get into the files and all this other stuff, but because of my position and me pitching that idea that I'm working on for Skyboxes, that's what it was, y'all. I was like, it's got to have something to do with these stadiums and stuff. All this, something with the stadiums or something. That idea that he pitched the other week, it was about Skyboxes. And that's what the boxes were. I'm like, what kind of boxes, baby? Like, I should have known it was a Skybox or something, but it went over my head. I had a blind moment. It is what it is. So he was like, since I have that type of access now, I've been given certain, credentials. So he was like, I'm gonna try to find a back door into all of that and look into it, because at this point Raymond is like, look, I want to be able to get these shares, and I want my wife to be able to come and work with me. Like, he even pitches the idea to her, was like, leave your daddy's company, leave that company, don't have nothing else to do with it no more, and come and work for me. And so in her mind, she's like, that's not even an option. But even if it were, like, he was like, oh, don't worry, I'm working on some things. Well, we then see Q, the twin boy, Lauren's brother, made up with the maid's granddaughter. I don't know why her name randomly just escaped me. I'll think of it later on. But they all bayed up and doing the most. And so you can tell that Lauren is not here for her. And I mean, of course, since the girl ain't got no money, I'm sure that's a part of it. But she feels as though that the heifer is a hanger-on and only trying to be with him and show all of this love to him because he has money and she don't, and she trying to come up. So they keep bumping heads. Teddy is sitting up here and he done called in one of his old hitters and investigative buddies who I'm sure has been down with the get down for years, because you see how everybody who hanging on with him, if they ain't brand new, fresh out the mud like Tariq or whatever, they all old and around his age and a little older and all of that. So everybody on the payroll at this point. So he was telling him, go get some information on Jack Harmon, and I need you to drop something off to Piggy for me at my daughter's house and all this other stuff. Cool, whatever. So now we see Leah's mama reminiscent about old times when she wore this specific gown and all this, and they taking it in and doing all this other stuff. Leah might actually wear it. It's the kind of cute dress or whatever. So she was like, look, I just want to spend some time with you. I'm enjoying this. And she was like, I'm glad that you're here with me. And she was like, look, I'm here to celebrate this big day with you. And like, you could tell that Leah is really enjoying this time that she's spending with her mama, and I'm here for it. And, she actually remembers her. Like, it's crazy. Like, because she ain't out of her mind in this moment. So the party done went on. It's like a day party. Like, it is jumping. Everybody's setting it off. If this is a real song, I ain't never heard it before. It sounds like The Wobble, but it's something else. I think it's about some jiggle. I don't know. But it literally sounds like The Wobble. And they literally are doing The Wobble and like adding other little random stuff to it as they dance. So Nate came in. Then later on, at some point, Tariq came in and greeted Piggy. And, since she fully came out with everything that she did, they are on good terms. He has basically forgiven her. And she was like, had I come clean earlier, y'all probably would not have been in the situation that y'all are in now. And like, Nate is just off in the distance watching them. And he already explained earlier how, because he went away, his life was taken from him and his family. So he watching a whole nother man over here with his family. Child, guess who walked in the door? Guess who walked in the door, baby? Child, all I could think of was Jesse. I don't even remember that man's name, his real name no more. I used to watch All My Children. I used to live for her and Jesse. If y'all don't know, the woman on here who's playing Piggy, this man was her husband on All My Children for forever and a day. 20, 30, 40 years, Jesus. They was together when I first started watching, and I am almost 40. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I screamed, I said, Jesse! I know that ain't Jesse! But he still look good. He still look good, even though he aging. I'm like, not Jesse. Y'all done went off. Y'all done went off and cut Jesse a check. Y'all all remember that? I was like, no, y'all did not. Okay, y'all, sorry. Like, that took my nerve down. I was like, wait, y'all had to do me like that. But that was smart. Y'all set it off. So anyway, she over here thinking she'd have killed this man 30-something years ago. And here he is standing before them. So they done went off to the side trying to talk. And she is just like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. How is this possible? Whatever. And so he explained to her basically that, Teddy and them wanted her to believe that he was dead. Because all this other stuff did happen. Like, she did, like, shoot him, stab him or something before. Or whatever. Because they was on drugs bad. And she was just on them so bad that she was going down the wrong road very, very fast. And so it felt like what would have really given her that push was to think that she had killed him. And hopefully it will be something that will push her in the right direction this time. And it did. And so ultimately she has Teddy to thank for that. And I'm just like, child, I hate that. Anyway, Sloan is the name of the heifer who the twin son is rolling up on. And so she done went, at it again with this heifer. And so he was like, what is wrong with you? Why are you so mean? Why do you have an issue with everybody? And so she was just like, I'm your twin. I know you better than anybody else. Like, she don't want you like that and all this other stuff. Like, they getting into it like they always do. Well, the mama is still at the house. It's nighttime. Like, I'm thinking, this heifer got a day pass. I know that the doctor signed off on everything, but the heifer's still at the house. So then the daddy, Teddy, done rolled up on the heifer. He see her standing and looking in the window. And so he turns on this, like, real deal record player. And plays some song. And they're dancing. Then Leah is walking out the back. And so she kind of see him. And so she's looking like, kind of watching them without them letting her know that she's there, admiring how everything is unfolding, because he's talking about, oh my gosh, I'm doing everything that I can to get this family back together and all this other stuff. And so it's warming Leah's heart. And I'm like, girl, your daddy is a snake in the grass. I can't. Like, she get her entire life. I'm like, girl, bye. So anyway, the next morning, she done rolled up on her mom, was like, all right, we got to get ready. So when she opened the door, she was like, there's no time for lounging around and all this other stuff. Man, she done rolled up on her mama dead, something terrible. So she over here realized, she was like, wait a minute, what's going on? She done touched her mama, realized her mama dead. She begins wailing, crying. Then she looks over and notices a blood stain on a pillow. And I'm saying to myself, did Teddy kill you or did you commit suicide? And then later on, in my mind, we're going to get there. We're going to get there and I'll say the rest of what I'm going to say. So a week later, they having the funeral. They going to have the funeral and all this other stuff. Everybody in their feelings, the grandkids in their feelings. Sloan, she was like, I really want to go with you to the funeral. And, this is a situation where she's not going to be able to go because I think they're still hiding behind her grandmama's back, doing all this, pretty much behind everybody's back. And it is what it is. So when the heifer tried to roll up on her again, the twin, she said something to her about, tell Taylor I like that outfit or them shoes or something she had on, because she saw them coming from out of somewhere where she had to clean. But because she was the cleanup woman, if you will, she didn't pay no attention to her because she is, beneath her. So this heifer looking like, oh, Jordan dropped to the floor because she know all your business. Which, means she knows that Nikki is supposed to be her girlfriend, but you all up and through. Oh, okay. Now you can go somewhere and shut up and quit worrying about what we got going on over here, whether I'm right or if I'm wrong. Child. So anyway, Jesse, because that's what I'm going to call him. He done rolled back up on Piggy, wanted to meet up. And so she was like, okay, what's going on? He done slid a bag over to her. It got a gun in there. She trying to figure out what is going on here. He was like, look, I don't know what's going on. All I know is 30 years ago, Teddy gave me that gun and told me to get rid of it. And for some reason, something told me to keep it. Might need for some insurance or something later on. I don't know, but some just told me to keep it. Never heard from him again since that day until the other day when I was told to come to that house to see you. Didn't know what was going on. He said, look, I changed my life. I'm a deacon at the church. I do all this volunteer work. I done changed my life completely. I am good now. But it is what it is. And so, ultimately, this is probably the biggest piece of the puzzle that is missing for everybody to find out what happened to Angela's mama. But yeah, he was like, look, I owe you. So, I figured I'd get this to you. Well, Angela is at the house and her daughter is trying to convince her to go to the funeral to support her sister. And she was just like, I don't know about all that because of how they have treated her. And so she was like, it is what it is. Blood is thicker than water. That's your sister. She probably gonna need you. Like, you need to think about it. Like, she was trying to give us some words of encouragement. I don't know if I would have been hearing that. I probably would have been very deaf and blind to that. So Leah trying to get ready for the funeral. And then she gets this note. Her mama done wrote a note out to her. And she was like, oh, your father gave me the best thing that I ever wanted. The best thing I could have ever had in my life. And that's you. And I enjoyed these last few hours with you. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, what is going on here? I'm trying to figure out if the daddy had her to write a suicide note, or did she write the suicide note? Because she said that all of this had been planned. She wanted to see her get ready for the event that she got ready for. So I guess the event happened like the next day or something. She got to see it. Then she killed herself. No. She killed herself the day of. This was literally the day of the event that they were supposed to go to. So, child, she done read the note and she got, a little upset and stirred up. Her daddy came to get her so that they could go to the funeral. So he was like, you can go ahead and go ahead of me because he got a phone call. Got the phone call from the OG detective dude. And he was like, well, there are people talking and they are talking about everybody saying the same thing. They basically said that they saw Jack give a key card to somebody and said that it was his daughter. Now, we all know that happened, but she wasn't the one who killed him. Y'all know it was Olivia. So now we at the funeral. Olivia done rolled up because she was good friends with the woman at one point in time before he put her away. Teddy done got up there trying to say words of inspiration, and I'm just rolling my eyes. Like, child, please. Olivia got up there telling us, y'all know that was my really good friend. Like, she really was sitting in that chair toe up. I was like, girl, bye. She done said something. Leah upset. Like, it was just too much going on. I was just like, child. Some of the y'all was about to say deities. Child, Gracities. The Gracities got up and sang, I think Precious Lord Take My Hand. I like their rendition. I liked it a lot. That's just not the way we sing it in my church. Like, them people be singing down like, okay, you say I'm gonna get into heaven if I sing this song just right. Oh, okay. I can't do it. I can't do it because I can't sing. But they be singing all the way down. Like, they be making me want to tiptoe out the church. Like, I need a minute because I don't want nobody to see not one teardrop fall. But they were singing down. Leah went and said her final goodbyes to her mama, and it was too much going on. Nikki was already there. She was sitting next to her girlfriend. And after it was all said and done, Angela showed up. She was standing there. And she saw her. And Leah saw her. And she walked up to her. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a good moment. They embraced. Because they both now share a terrible experience of losing their mother. Teddy tried to roll up. Angela said, I was like, you better tell him to stop. Child, the fact that she had to even tell you to halt and stop in your tracks. She shouldn't have even had to tell you that. They were having a sister moment. Get out of here. So anyway, she done went to the house. And Piggy at the house drinking. And so she over here looking at her like, oh, you done had a long day. You might need to have a drink. Piggy done unloaded the gun and told her what it was and told her this might be what you need. Like, I'm going to help you. So they both going to sit up here and try to solve this mystery that nobody wants to let anybody in on as to what happened. Like, you killed her for what? I feel like when we find out what happened, it's going to be way worse than what we thought. Anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. Please thumbs up this video. Subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. Let's talk about it in the comment section.